Tuesday night. Did I scare you? Well, everybody, it's good to have you here on a Tuesday night. It's the 5th day of August. 5th day of August, and it's going to be a great one. At least I hope it will. We're going to have some good time spent in the first half on a few news items. What's going on overseas? What is going on with all of these subpoenas and these deposition dates that have been given to us? And of course, then there is the new cushy prison conditions for Ghislaine Maxwell, who, as you know, since the beginning, I've had shaky beliefs that she's actually even spending a significant amount of time behind bars. But now it's just a little bit more public that if she is behind bars anywhere for whatever time she'll have left, it's going to be with sunshine and gardening and puppies and, I don't know, L'Oreal products. Maybe it's Maybelline. I don't know. Either way, there's a lot of stuff that I want to bring up tonight. And I asked Jason Bermas, I said, hey man, can you come on for 30 minutes in the first half? I just want your thoughts on all this talk about Maxwell immunity, what the hell the new prison switch up really means, and then of course what's going on overseas with everything else. I mean, Ukraine is weird. Palantir got another $10 billion, and that'll be that. In the second half, we're just going to open it up for calls, and I got a few other things to do. Before you know it, it's going to be 9 o'clock, and then we're going to be setting ourselves up for extra innings. That's after the end credits rolls at 9 o'clock. You are all welcome and encouraged to spend another 20 to 25 minutes with us over on pilled.net. And that's also embedded right in the center of Quite Frankly.tv as well. And it's just going to be limited format, me, some calls maybe, but mostly just reading the chat room and watching videos. And I can't wait for it. I can't wait for what this is going to open up for us as far as content creation goes at the end of every night, and how that is going to be used and repurposed elsewhere. You know, John Ward got in touch with me before the show started. John's coming to the Jamboree, by the way, with a lot of other people that you're going to love to, rub shoulders with and bullshit with and all that stuff. And he asked me a very critical question. Frank, my girlfriend wants to know what the dress code is. And I said, well, I guess I'm going to have to make an announcement about that. Because it's not casual. It's not black tie. Friday night VIP. I mean, maybe I'll be wearing something a little bit better than jeans. I don't know what that means. I'm completely confused right now. I have to make a statement. I have to talk to people. How do I characterize this? What's the best thing to do? I said, you know what? I don't know what this means, John, but go with this for now. Pretend as if you're going to a 3.5 star out of 5 Italian restaurant for cocktails or something. Now, the food that we're going to have there is going to be 5 stars. Wait until you hear the menu that we read off. When Jay comes back to the show next week on the 13th, we're going to reveal the menu. Oh man, I can't wait. And on top of all that stuff is going to be Sal, the butcher. Sal is going to be there with his own station, bringing his, however many pounds of ribeye. It's going to be incredible. You guys are going to be very well fed because it's going to be so protein based that you're going to get full quicker. You're going to see this. This is going to be, it's going to be theory in practice. So anyway, thank you, John Ward, for getting in touch with me and asking me a very critical question about the event. How should we dress? Damn. So I'll take care of that afterwards. Anyway, I thank you guys for last night. I'm looking, probably on Friday night, I'm going to revisit the American Restoration Project because I've had several members of the audience submit to me really incredible pictures of either their parent or their personal projects or projects that their parents took up, restoring old tractors. Of course, we had our caller last night who called in about the Nissan, the 1984, and that looks beautiful. So I can't wait to show those pictures. I'll save them for Friday night because when we have a little bit more wiggle room. But for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, it should be a nice little trip around the block on this August 5th, 2025, with a little bit more fun at the end. A piñata at the end of it all. All right, here's what we have up front. I had somebody that had written into me, Wendy. She said, Frank, I thought you might like this story. I work in the courts and we have a police radio in our office. For hours, we listened to the drama of this particular story I'm sending you right now unfold. And then nothing. Literal radio silence. Well, we were all happy to learn when our deputies announced that the body that they were looking for wasn't actually a body. Just another day here in Idaho. Here is the headline. Deputies find a life-size sex doll just floating down the Blackfoot River after a 3-hour search for a body. 3-hour search for it initially appeared to be a body, and the Blackfoot River ended up being a life-size silicone female companion doll. It all started Thursday morning. All right, can you imagine they started throwing these onto the court at WNBA games? Somebody says, no, we got to go big. We got to go big. Forget about the dildos. The entire female companion doll just flops onto the ground. Everybody gasps because they think it's somebody fell from the rafters. No, that would kill somebody. Can't do it. If there was a safe way to do it, I'd say I would watch. But it's too risky. You have to be careful. Just promise me you'll be careful. Okay, so anyway, let's keep going with this. Maybe, I'm sorry. The county sheriff's name is Maybe. Caribou County Sheriff Adam Maybe tells EastIdahoNews.com someone had reported seeing a body in the river about 16 miles northeast of Soda Springs. The Blackfoot River flows from the Diamond Creek area and connects to the Blackfoot Reservoir. When my team went in and pulled it out of the water, that's when they realized it was just a life-size companion doll, and everybody heaved a sigh of relief. You know, all the bad things we read about these days, thank God. Thank God it was only that, you know. I just, would you not be completely, good. Just a little something we can laugh about around the water cooler for the next 15 years. All right, so what's the next thing? Okay, so last night we were talking about the WNBA again and the incidents with the green thing. I told you that I said, who would it be? And I said it's probably somebody with the Beavis and Butthead graffiti. And of course, like clockwork, I go home and this story is just waiting for me. I mentioned him last night. Not so randomly, it's just waiting for me. I expect this. Okay, so here you go. This is the kind of news coverage I expect when they finally find the person who did it. If they haven't already, maybe he's already been severely reprimanded. But this was where, I forget, some guy was graffitiing Beavis faces all over fences and lampposts or something around town. They finally found him, and this news reporter who was given the story to report on just cracked up over it. And I tend to agree with him.
Caught up on some news now. A suspected vandal facing charges after allegedly leaving Beavis and Butthead graffiti all over Detroit. My goodness.
There he is. See, now, this face is hilarious. You'd think that he just committed a murder, but he's just, I don't know, just graffiti. And I have to imagine somebody like this was very serious about their mission at the WNBA game the other day.
I'm sorry. I was not. I'm sorry. Brian Heron calls himself Beavis, spelled B-V-I-S. I'm so sorry. Police say he left his mark on buildings and fences, even inside a supermarket. Heron, actually, this is...
He left his mark, all right. That's it. You want to let everybody know I'm here. Anyway, you know what this reminds me of? There's one bridge that we always cross when we're up in Minerva, the Minerva area, going around, buying groceries, stuff like that. As you may or may not know, up in the Adirondack the area region of New York, the Hudson River just winds through everything. And over the course of an hour driving anywhere up there, it's not uncommon for you to cross the Hudson River several times, just within a couple of miles. And this one particular bridge, I remember we were up there, it might have been 2019, 2021, something like that. Somebody had apparently spray painted a dong on the road of one of these bridges. And we're going into Silver Creek, I think. So somebody spray painted a dong there with the balls and everything. So it was balls and shaft. And it's right there in the middle of the street. How do I know that somebody had done it? Because the idiots at DPW came and covered it up with like black paint / tar and just went over the paint. So they essentially just made a black dong instead of whatever the hell the original paint was. I said, is this serious? Or they seriously did this? You can tell it was covered up. Like you should have made it into a rectangle or something like that. I thought that was hilarious. And if I were responsible for actually putting the original dong down there and the DPW responded by just tracing over it and trying to match what? The blacktop, the asphalt, thinking it was just going to fade away. Oh, that was great. It was eventually corrected the right way, but because it's not there anymore. But it's nice. Just a nice little something. These are the memories that you take with you all throughout your life. At least me. Okay, here's one more thing from Washington, D.C. Elon Musk, 2 hours ago, tweeted a few days ago, a gang of about a dozen young men tried to assault a woman in her car at night in D.C. It was probably the Mormon choir again. A Doge team member saw what was happening, ran to defend her, and was severely beaten to the point of concussion, but he saved her. It's time to federalize D.C. And he saved or tweeted I guess it's a truth or something from Donald Trump, a statement made about what was going on. Crime in Washington, D.C. is totally out of control. Local youths and gang members, some only 14, 15, and 16 years old, are randomly attacking, mugging, maiming, and shooting innocent citizens. At the same time, knowing that they will be almost immediately released, they are not afraid of law enforcement because they know nothing ever happens to them. It's going to happen now. The law in D.C. must be changed. And he's talking about how he's going to exert his powers and federalize the city. I think that's exactly what should happen, no doubt about it. I mean, first of all, the federal campus. Washington, D.C. should be completely federal. What I think should happen is that every residential area in Washington, D.C. should be immediately cut out and given back to Maryland. But I mean, while it's going to be Washington, D.C., and you're just going to have citizens there, I mean, then yeah, I mean, what's the federal land? I mean, if there's any place that you can really put the screws to crime and do something big, I mean, I'd like to see what they do. Really would. Because otherwise, it's completely ridiculous to have people in D.C. as residents. That should all be made into Maryland again. Just some thoughts. But you know who the person who did it? Is it really? They're saying it's big balls. Big balls is the definition of what a man is. That's what Matt Van Swole says. I don't know for sure if it's really big balls. The kid that has been causing so much controversy for being out there working with Doge, and CNN couldn't stop saying his name over and over again, and maybe because it was just a sign of how toxically masculine the government was getting again. Gives up a high-paying job, they say, joins Doge to save the country's money, gets harassed by the media, saves a woman from being harassed in D.C. If it really is him, then that is one hell of not a coincidence, but one hell of a turn of events. Only adds to the legend. All right, everybody, let's get this one kicked off. We have a few minutes until Jason Bermas joins the show, so I want to set the table and make sure that we prepare accordingly. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's go.
Yes. Hey, I have something for you. We got 2 tickets that we're giving away to the Jamboree. And to make sure that the people who really want them, who are really going to use them, actually get them, here's what we're going to do. Starting tonight, and I will announce the winners on the 13th. Next Wednesday, you write an email to Quite Frankly at quitefrankly.tv, and you're going to write maximum 200-word essay. How you found the show and what Quite Frankly means to you. Okay? That's it. That's the submissions for people who wish to attend. We have two tickets, at least right now, that we're giving away. And that's it. No more than 200 words. Write it. Quite Frankly. Frank at quitefrankly.tv. How did you find the show, and what does Quite Frankly mean to you? Also, I have to make another announcement. That KetoBrains giveaway for tonight, it's going to be tomorrow because I screwed up the promo codes. Listen to what Molly had to do because of me. She made a win Frankly promo code, a Frankly win promo code. There's a Frankly promo code. That's the one-time 20% off. And then there's the members only code that you all get if you're a monthly sponsor. It doesn't matter which one you use, as long as if you buy anything on the website and you use a Quite Frankly related code, she'll know how to categorize you and put you into the raffle. But I announced the wrong one. I switched it up. So now we have all these different codes, but they're all going to get you some money off, and they're all going to put you into the raffle. That's all I had to say about that. Winners announced tomorrow. Thank you, Molly. I'm sorry for the inconvenience. KetoBrains.com. Blow your brain up. Aurora had some this morning again. You should have seen her walking out with her travel mug. So she looked like 27 years old. So what the hell am I watching here? But she loves it, so I'm not going to deny her. All right. Another earthquake today in New York. And I just got to say, yeah, I felt it. It was about 2.7 on the Richter scale. Saturday's was 3. when you put it together, only a couple of days apart, is that considered an aftershock? I don't know. But again, the epicenter is in New Jersey. And before I start getting comments about how that's no earthquake, you pussy, around here, that's an earthquake. And the whole point is we had 2 this month. We had a 4.8 last April. We had 1 or 2 in 2023. Prior to 3 to 4 years ago, every one in this area, whenever the whole topic of earthquakes would pop up, the only thing that people could remember and reference to was October 1985. Even I was told about that time and time again. You were only 4 months old, 5 months old, whatever it was. The house was shaking. And I went back and I looked at it today, and it was that was a 4.0 back in October of 1985. So it's just weird. And it's not normal for us, even though they are considered tiny little quakes. On top of that, it's all happening in yet another full week of smoky pink sun, itchy, scratchy eyes and throat, something else that was made normal 3 to 4 years ago. Oh, it's Canada, and I don't doubt that there's trees burning up there. What, like, why? This didn't happen. This just didn't happen 4 years ago. And now it's a couple of weeks every summer for the last 3 years. So I don't get it. And you want to talk about building up fact patterns, noticing things. Some of the things I'm noticing. It's very hard not to notice an earthquake. But there you have that. All right, now going on to more weird shit before we bring on Jason Bermas. Jim Acosta, not so slim Jim. He is, this guy is he's always been a pathetic slug. He's always been a pathetic guy, in my opinion, but this is just grotesque. Jim Acosta interviews a made-up AI avatar of one of the children who were shot at Parkland years ago. When I saw it shared on Twitter yesterday, I didn't think it was real. I had to check, and apparently it is. Jim Acosta, former chief White House correspondent for CNN, stirred controversy on Monday when he sat for a conversation with a reanimated version of a person who died more than 7 years ago. His guest was an avatar of Joaquin Oliver, one of the 17 people that lost their lives at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in 2018. The video shows Oliver captured via real photograph and animated with generative artificial intelligence, wearing a beanie with solemn expression, and Acosta asking the avatar, "What happened to you?" And now here's the thing. It's the parents that made this thing. Acosta said in the video segment that Oliver's parents created the AI version of their son, and his father, Manuel Oliver, invited him to be the first reporter to interview the avatar that they created. It's so ghoulish. It's so ghoulish. Acosta also spoke to Manuel Oliver in the video, telling him, I really felt like I was speaking to Joaquin. It's a beautiful thing. He's a nightmare of a man. Listen to this. Take a look. This was started getting around yesterday. This is 24 seconds long. This is the abominable Jim Acosta. I'm telling you, these people are floundering. The fact that they are doing this, I'm so happy that we're doing what we're doing. I really am.
I would like to know what your solution would be for gun violence.
Great question. I believe in a mix of stronger gun control laws, mental health support, and community engagement.
You understand how sick this is? The fact that the parents took a still image of their son, cloned the voice, and just fed it gun control lines and had it speak through the puppet of their child. And Acosta agreed to sit down and talk to this puppet. He might as well have spoken to an actual puppet. I just cannot believe that he agreed to do it. I can't. And I know that we always say, listen, you don't hate the media enough. You don't hate the media enough, and they have no standards, no scruples. If it weren't for double standards, they have none at all. So I guess they have some standards. It's just double standards. This, I don't even know what it is. This goes beyond that. I think this is no standards. It's gone. I mean, you can just say the shit that you say over and over again. You don't have to say it through the some sort of a grief apparatus that was created by two parents that are searching for some kind of purpose in their life, and they have gone down a completely inappropriate road to do so. But Jim Acosta, you should be ashamed of yourself, you double chin moron. Anyway, here's something else we got to do today. James Comer announces 10 new subpoenas, and this all has to do with Russia. House Oversight Committee compelling the following individuals to appear for depositions through issued subpoenas. Are you ready for this? And that's what I want to talk a little bit about with Jason Bermas. Former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, October 9th, that's her date. Former President Bill Clinton, October 14th, that's his date. I wonder if he's going to slip in the shower before then. Former U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, October 2nd. James Comey, October 7th. Bill Barr, August 18th. Alberto Gonzalez, August 26th. Now, is this all just about Epstein, or are they going into? They're going into Russia as well. Is it multifaceted? I don't know. With Jeff Sessions, I have to imagine it's Russia related, but so many things are happening right now. We'll see. Robert Mueller, September 2nd. Loretta Lynch, September 9th. Eric Holder, September 30th. I just wonder, who do you think anybody's going to show up? What do you think? Does anyone show? How do you see all of this going down? That's something I'm really interested in. And then we have this puppy prison inside Ghislaine Maxwell's new home. British socialite will have freedom to roam expansive grounds, earn money to spend on cosmetics, and train dogs to become service animals. Where she is right now offers yoga classes, fully stocked gym. Then again, where she was the captain of the softball team. It's there's so much here. Described as a luxury facility by her victims. Hold on, let me make sure I got everything right. Described as a luxury facility by her victims, Maxwell will be rubbing shoulders with other wealthy inmates and can spend the earnings from her prison jobs on cosmetics. This place grants its female prisoners the freedom to roam the facility's expansive grounds with limited to no perimeter fencing to pen them in. There are gardening opportunities for the green-fingered criminals that are there as well. How quaint. How quaint. A little bit more. Besides Maxwell, she'll be there with other inmates like Elizabeth Holmes. That's the person who founded Theranos and is serving 11-year sentence for defrauding investors. That's the Theranos was supposedly, it was going to be this all-encompassing test. You know, you give a couple of drops of blood and it is just going to tell you exactly what you have. It's going to tell you everything. But really what she was doing was she was just taking blood from people and just running them through a battery of tests that already existed. And it was just lying. So that's who she's surrounded by. They can spend up to $360 a month of their earnings during assigned shopping days at a commissary which sells beauty products, including L'Oreal Revita Anti-Aging Cream for $26. Carousel nail care product for $20. And what is this? Chest binders. Oh, of course. They're going to have chest binders in Ghislaine Maxwell's new prison for all the trans prisoners. That's only $26 if you need to bind your chest. What's the last thing over here? American public should be enraged by the preferential treatment that is being shown to her, says other, victims. But the real question is why this happened. At the end of this article over here, it says the reason for her move to the less secure facility remains unclear, but comes a week after she was interviewed by Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's deputy attorney general, about information she holds on the Epstein files. Capitalizing on the recent attention her case has drawn, Maxwell's legal team have said she is willing to testify before Congress in exchange for a presidential pardon or having her sentence commuted, a possibility Mr. Trump has not ruled out. I'm bringing on Jason Bermas because I have so many questions and not enough theories, to be honest, at this point. And I just got to see what the hell he's thinking. Jason, how are you?
Good, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing all right. Let's just jump into this real quick, and then we can get to overseas, Palantir, everything else. What's your take on the prison facilities move for Ghislaine Maxwell? Because there has been talk, although I have not confirmed what's confirmed and who's saying what, talk about immunity and what is being traded. And then, of course, this, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the latest moves?
Well, I think that we have to go back to the beginning of this PR campaign where they were trying to ease us into a big letdown, where Kash Patel is on Joe Rogan and Dan Bongino is telling you everything is okay and there's nothing else here. And then all of a sudden the Bondi drop, right? The one shining hope that everybody was like, no, we're still going to get something. The Bondi drop. And then Trump's anger the first time it's brought up in the press. The Streisand effect has been huge. That there has been absolutely no way that they could not address this issue, to the point where, I don't know if you saw it, but Chuck Schumer has allegedly invoked the rule of five, whatever that means, and supposedly saying that the Epstein files must be released by August 15th. I'm not holding my breath. But essentially what you had happen was the base was so disturbed, so disgusted, that the process for a limited hangout explanation of what happened is now fully underway. And I mean that sincerely, fully underway. And what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, there are a few things that you didn't mention about the Maxwell case. Before Maxwell met with the Department of Justice, which 100% was not planned. Okay, again, that was the pressure of the constituents saying no. And remember, Frank, Trump has gotten away with so much that I really, truly believe that he thought that he was going to get away with this core issue. I'll give you a couple examples. Lock her up. Hillary Clinton, of course, never even brought charges against her. People were a little upset about that. Loved the WikiLeaks, couldn't get enough of the WikiLeaks. Then all of a sudden doesn't know much about it, doesn't know Assange. His Department of Justice goes after it. People are very forgiving. Even with the fallout with the Muscardoo, people have been very forgiving. This was the line too far, because a lot of people really believed in fairy tales and unicorns, and that there were white hats and these people were actually going down. They bought into the hopium train. Speaking on that Reawaken America tour really gave me a full-blown insight into how many people were hyper QAnon sense delusional. And I'm telling you, man, it was a quarter to maybe half of the people that were showing up. And that is truly Trump's base. I need to make that extremely clear. So this was too far. Now, Ghislaine Maxwell, prior to all this happening, had petitioned to have her sentence basically overturned and the case thrown out because of the non-prosecution agreement that her and others, Frank, were a part of in that initial case. Now, at that time, the Department of Justice, and this is before she spoke to the DOJ for 2 days, Todd Beach, she was trying to get that seen by the Supreme Court. The Department of Justice came out and said that they didn't even want the Supreme Court to consider it. Well, now they have actually appealed to the Supreme Court, and that is in play. Okay? So now what have we seen? The big headlines are that we've subpoenaed Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. That's only, do you know the other names, by the way?
Yeah. I got to get the whole thing over here. It is, hold on, let me get you up on the screen with me. Here we go. This was released today by, what's his name? James Comer. All the dates doesn't matter. It's Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton, Merrick Garland, James Comey, Bill Barr, Alberto Gonzalez, Jeff Sessions, Robert Mueller, Loretta Lynch, Eric Holder. So right off the bat, I didn't know, this has to be at least a mix at the very least of Russia and Epstein, if not complete, because I mean, this is mostly a Russia cast list over here. So, but there's
they're also requesting all the communications between the Biden administration regarding Epstein and any of these individuals.
Okay.
Any communications. Now, that puts people like Comey, Barr, all in there. You know, Barr, first of all, it's going to be interesting because obviously Barr was a part of his administration, right? And I think they're right to target Barr, not only on Epstein, but Russiagate, as he absolutely helped cover that up. I think they've finally gotten wise to that situation. But Barr openly said that he wanted to recuse himself, or might have to recuse himself from anything Epstein, because when he was in private law, after being the youngest attorney general under George H.W. Bush, he represented Epstein through Kirkland and Ellis. He was one of his lawyers. And you notice that none of Epstein's lawyers or this gentleman right here, Frank, was on that subpoena list.
Oh, yeah.
And that's Alexander Acosta. And what a lot of people forget, let's play the clip here, okay? Alexander Acosta literally had to resign right next to Donald Trump 24 hours after being asked about that non-prosecution agreement and his connection to intelligence. Watch this.
And I got a call this morning early from Alex, and I think he did a very good job yesterday. Under a lot of pressure, he did a fantastic job, and he explained it. And he made a deal that people were happy with, and then 12 years later, they're not happy with it. You'll have to figure all of that out. But the fact is, he has been a fantastic Secretary of Labor. And Alex called me this morning and he wanted to see me. And I actually said, well, we have the press right out here, so perhaps you just want to say it to the press. But I just want to let you know, this was him, not me, because I'm with him. He's a tremendous talent. He's a Hispanic man. He went to Harvard, a great student. And in so many ways, I just hate what he's saying now, because we're going to miss him.
As I look forward, I do not think it is right and fair for this administration's Labor Department to have Epstein as the focus rather than the incredible economy that we have today. And so I called the president this morning. I told him that I thought the right thing was to step aside. Cabinet positions are temporary trust. It would be selfish for me to stay in this position and continue talking about a case that's 12 years old rather than about the amazing economy we have right now.
Now, I want you to think about this. Do you believe, Frank, that Acosta is the one that called Trump up and said, I'm just going to resign? That is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, even Trump he's wonderful. He's Hispanic. He's from Harvard. I mean, obviously not. They wanted that part to go away. And at the time, because, Epstein still hadn't killed himself, we didn't even have Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm not even sure Ghislaine Maxwell was in custody at that point, right?
No.
There was enough that this narrative could be stretched out, and they were doing enough that they didn't have to be questioned. Now what's being set up is they are doing enough not to get slaughtered in the midterms. They're about to set up a special counsel. They have said, at least from the, and listen, there is no doubt, Ghislaine Maxwell was already granted partial immunity. And we don't know in regards to what, but in those two meetings, 100% granted partial immunity. Her lawyer said that she was talked to about 100 different individuals. When you look at these indictments, they're going to try to make it about Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Bill Richardson, who's now deceased, the Clinton Foundation, and truncate it there. Okay? Because they know no one's going to go to jail. They don't want to bring up the stuff prior to that with arms dealing and Iran-Contra, because nobody's running headlines about that, right? They don't want to talk about the transhumanist stuff and Bill Gates and other individuals. That's still going on. They don't want to talk about the arms dealing with Prince Andrew. They don't want to talk about the Israeli intelligence aspect. They don't want to talk about the U.S. intelligence aspect, man. So right now, they are getting ready to try to truncate all of this into, well, Jeffrey Epstein was very much behind the Clintons and they're corrupt. Because a lot of people already think the Clintons are corrupt, and they're the next sacrificial lambs to a point. I don't know how far that's going to be, but I think that you're also going to see some things from the Barack star, possibly doing some pieces where he might talk about the adversarial nature of Hillary Clinton, or how they might not have gotten along, and he was forcibly made to put that person in the administration. That's just how it works. That's the next thing to watch for. What I wouldn't watch for is anybody going to jail. I think indictments may be coming in the Russiagate stuff, but I think what you're going to see with Epstein in particular is you're going to see a lot of, dick swinging and, arm waving, and we're going to do this and that. And it's going to come down to a special counsel. And I mean, even right now, they're talking about possibly releasing the transcripts of those two meetings with Ghislaine Maxwell. I don't think that is going to happen. If it does happen, I think there would be large redactions. You've already had two of the family members, the victims, come out and through their lawyers say they don't want that released. I'll tell you right now, I don't want just the transcripts. I guarantee you that they taped that conversation, right? Release the tapes. I want to see how she acted when she was asked these things, etc. Mark Epstein is now asking for Steve Bannon to release his 15 hours of tapes of his brother in those interviews that we don't know about, that were done just before Epstein was picked up in 2019. So this story is not going away as much as the Trump administration would like it to, and they now realize it's not going away. So they have to, Trump was again asked about it today. And what did he say? I don't want to talk about it, but Bill Clinton was on the island 28 times. That's not real. I want to let people know he might have been on it 20 plus times. There's two islands. There's the Zorro Ranch facility that never gets talked about. Bill and Hillary Clinton apparently on that ranch had their own, home. That's very, very possible. That's not being talked about. The 20 plus number comes from the amount of times it's confirmed that Bill Clinton flew on Epstein's plane. And I think 4 of those at least are that Africa trip.
Yeah, they went to South Africa.
Yes.
Which of course is another hotbed of an area in the world for people of those types of appetites. So that doesn't really even shake all of the suspicion off there either. But yeah, to your point, though, let me ask you real quick, concerning the full list of people over here. Do all of them have some kind of a dual involvement in both Russiagate and an Epstein link? Like Loretta Lynch, does she have an Epstein link? Eric Holder, Jeff Sessions, or is this really just going to be? Are they looking into two separate, mutually exclusive situations that have a lot of bleed over with the characters involved?
Frank, we know whether or not you believe that Epstein was intelligence, right? Part of that deal in Miami was that he gave information to the FBI. Well, which FBI agent procured that deal? That's censored.
Robert Mueller.
Well, it seems like it would be Robert Mueller, right?
Yeah.
But again, it's censored. Mueller Mueller and Bill Barr have known each other for a very long time, Frank. They came up in the Iran-Contra era. All right. Listen, if my hopium hat was on, those are two people that you would want for like the real truth regarding Epstein. But I think they're going to truncate that. I really, really do. I would love to be wrong on this one. I think, again, that you look at those names like Eric Holder, Attorney General. How long was Epstein giving information via the FBI alone, right? You would think somebody with that kind of influence in the deal that they cut, it wouldn't be a one-off. He might have been giving information for the rest of his life. That's a possibility. And you know what? That's another thing that we wouldn't want to come out about this country. Now, in Trump in general, think about this, Frank. Before a month or two ago, I think it was about a month ago, did we know that Epstein was at his second wedding? No, but we sure saw a bunch of photographs of Ghislaine Maxwell at Chelsea Clinton's wedding, right? You see what I'm getting at here? He knows he knew Epstein. In fact, now he's admitted that Epstein supposedly stole workers from him not once but twice. Virginia Giuffre among those people that he took from the spa. So, Trump is basically saying that is the true story of our falling out. Okay, interesting. But there is other stories out there in the press that allegedly Epstein is the one that introduced Trump to Melania at this kind of party with a bunch of different models that were vying for wife number 3. I don't know whether that's true or not. But
I see it all floating around. I honestly ignore it all at this point because there's such a mess.
I mean, I don't ignore it because that's a possibility. These guys, you got to remember, these guys knew each other. They were around models all the time. Trump was running beauty pageants. In fact, did you know that Jeffrey Epstein, when they first went to arrest him in Palm Beach, Florida, they actually postponed the arrest because they thought about it, but he was judging a modeling competition. And they didn't want to pick him up at the modeling competition that he was judging because they didn't want to disrupt it. They waited until afterwards. So they're in that world. And, Frank, a bunch of people automatically dismissed the Trump letterhead because they hadn't seen it, or Trump has said, I didn't write that letter.
The birthday card thing.
Have you seen it?
Oh, on the Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, but have you seen the actual card?
No, I read it on the site.
I'll tell you what, before I broke out my jump to conclusions, Matt, because I remembered how it was described and I was like, all right, well, that seems actually plausible. I said, when I heard about it, I go, well, it sounds like some of this is typed up. So that doesn't mean he wrote it. He could have just said, hey, write something up. And then the idea that, he doesn't doodle, he doodles. I've seen him doodle. He's doodled a bunch. And I'm going to show it to you now, Frank. Now you make your decision. I think that this is very possible. It's on a Trump letterhead. It's a birthday book with also one from Clinton and many other people that they're not disclosing. He could have said, hey, write something for me. And whoever was the, person who was writing these, because listen, Trump does a ton of thank you letters, right? You know that. And he has for years and years and years. People keep them. They've published them. I could see this possibly being it. And then, he might have dictated this last part, but you notice that the Donald is identical to his signature right in the pubic area. I mean, let's be real, man. This is a guy that has grabbed him by the pussy. Like, it's just a real thing, bro. So the in joke on this, again, take a look, everybody, is that the Donald is right by the bush and we have this thing in common and it's beautiful women. That's, to me, Frank, again, that's not out of the realm, bro. Like, I think that's a possible. I'm 80% sure. And you notice he's saying now he's distanced himself from it. He goes, well, somebody might have written the letter. And then he just starts bringing up Russiagate and the dirty dossier as if that's relevant. No, I think that, like I said, I want to see the other, 50th birthday cards or whatever. I want to see the whole book. I want to see all the files. The other thing that we really haven't brought up is the idea of how many of these files there are, bro. There are so many of these files that we don't have any access to at all. And, let me give you some examples. In just one court case, okay, just one of the court cases, let's take a look. Those are boxes of documents. That's Bradley Edwards, who represented a bunch of the victims. You see all those boxes?
Yeah.
Other than the victims' names and things that would lead to their names, would be part of the Epstein files. The hard drives here would be part of the Epstein files. You notice right here above the hard drives, there's this picture of an Apache helicopter, but even this next next picture is totally blacked out because they don't want you to know who he's associating with. It's insane. There's the burned discs. That would be part of the Epstein files.
This is all coming out of the New York residence?
Yes.
Okay.
Everything is just one residence. Now, obviously, the Bradley Edwards one is not from the New York residence. But for those that don't know the Bradley Edwards story, just as they had chosen a jury and done jury selection, Epstein folded for an undisclosed amount of money and actually had to write up this whole thing where he admitted that he had wrongly gone after Bradley Edwards, and Edwards had done his job and was truthful, etc. Well, he represented people like Virginia Giuffre Roberts that said some pretty vicious things about him.
Well, I mean, I'll just say you've done, obviously you're one of the people that I defer to when it comes to deeper dives on these subjects, but it has been a very confusing couple of months, just from a public relations standpoint, head scratching about how subjects are being handled and how new buffer zones are being put up, new hurdles in between. And, it's made a lot of people go, it's not adding up. And it's and the angry responses too have been especially like, all right, well, is that the way it's going to be? We're just going to have to see. I mean, I look at all of these deposition dates from starting in this month into October, and the first question I have is how many of these people are actually going to show up? What's going to be asked of them? Is this all going to be? These are not going to be public depositions, are they? No.
I would be shocked if they were public.
So, I mean,
look, the other person that Trump keeps invoking is Larry Summers, and Larry Summers is a real player. Like, Larry Summers very involved in the Clinton Foundation, the Clinton Initiative, and I think that's the angle that he's trying to play, again, because Epstein was so financially and politically involved with Clinton. Remember, he was also at the White House 17 times between 93 and 95. But Larry Summers, he's a baller, man. Like, he's one of those guys, Harvard professor, big in the banking world, and a steering member at Bilderberg. I've been going there, I think, man, it's got to be close to 20 years. So he's the real deal. I just can't see any of them testifying. But if you put together a special counsel, and I think you would have closed door hearings, but if there's enough refusal, all of a sudden you have the public hearings. I think the public hearings, you get both sides, and then you make it about politics, and there's not a lot of there. Most people are going to be cowed down by their lobbyists, by the people that are in their ear, etc. There's only going to be a handful asking real questions, and every once in a while you might get them to plead the fifth or invoke national security. But I mean, is Fauci in jail, bro? Right? like is that train moving? He lied under oath how much?
I know.
Clapper, who I don't believe was on this list, right, of indictments, how many times he lied? He's lied quite a bit, and I don't see any motions there. I want to believe. I think that there are aspects of this administration, other than having to react to the constituency, that are doing good things. I think Tulsi Gabbard is genuine. I don't think she's a warmonger. I think that she really does want to get these Russiagate people, etc. RFK Jr. just got the thimerosal out of the shots. That's huge. That's huge. I don't know that I ever thought I was going to see that in my lifetime. He's openly talked about DARPA. There's word that whole approval of the mRNA stuff was done with an auto pen while he wasn't there. I don't know if that's true or not, but I'd like to see him regress on that. Those are the two. And look, if you're into the border, Holman's trying to do his job. I don't think that they're necessarily doing the best of the best, but at least the borders are are much more strict right now, and there are deportations enough where the other side is crying, ICE abuse. There are real things with this administration. The tariffs, that's a real thing. So we got to give the wins while they're where they are, but where you just have some of the most egregious stuff, foreign policy wise, Israel, Palestine, Ukraine, Russia, and especially with this Epstein thing, where you literally, I mean, no offense, but Trump put podcast stars in his administration that talked real tough. They talked real tough. Bongino talked real tough. And Cash Patel talked real tough about the FBI and that he was going to what? Move everybody out of D.C., make them go to work and turn it into a museum. You know when that's happening? This side of never, my friend.
I was looking at, I'm assessing things essentially in the same way. I wonder about, a lot of people I know just wonder out loud about what the hell really happened with this Epstein thing, that you can just, you can accept that we went from, okay, well, there's one thing to say that if somebody comes out and says, listen, there's been evidence that is destroyed. We went in there. There's nothing there. Now, I would appreciate that. There's nothing here. There's evidence that's been destroyed all over the place. Instead, we got phase 1 binders. When's phase 2 coming? What is the New York Southern District of New York holding? Change of hands over there. Get everything, truckload of stuff coming out, but there's nothing there, and everything is clean. I think that just left a lot of people just with their heads spinning. And then you have so many other things where it continues on, where it morphs from that into it's a Democrat hoax, that the whole thing was a Democrat hoax. And it's, oh no, are we really going down? We're really getting this kind of a switcheroo here on even the basic details that everybody, I mean, what do we really know? What do we really know? And some people know a lot. Like, for example, you've done a lot of research, and whatever there is to know, that to be known, you probably know it or have at least heard about it. But to have all that flipped on its head and say now it's just been nothing but a Democrat hoax, that's odd. And to your point, the wars overseas. I was reading with Ukraine today that NATO is coordinating regular and what they say large scale arm deliveries to Ukraine, and that the U.S. is not going to be a part of it. Only we're the ones making it and selling it all. We're still selling it.
$1 billion in Patriot missiles. What are they talking about?
I know we're still manufacturing and selling it all. And I would love for us to really not be a part of it and saying, get your missiles somewhere else. We're just not contributing to the death anymore. I would love that. But still, we're talking about Russian sanctions. We're talking about more missiles for Ukraine, where we're talking about stalemates. That's a bummer as well. Now, as far as Israel and Palestine goes, the fact that now Netanyahu is just saying that we want to absorb whatever the hell is left of what was once Palestine, and it's just going to be all ours now. And they've gone so far beyond that idea that this is all just for self-defense. And now we're seeing, some of these children out in Gaza are so weak they can't even cry. They're men going out to just desperately fish at night or being shot in their boats. I mean, this is fucking gross, man. All that stuff feels absolutely gross.
I literally just did a video on it, and yeah, no, I'm really upset. But if you were listening, and I told everybody this, man, I think we had the conversation out of the gates. Netanyahu said what? There is no two-state solution. Right away, said there's no two-state solution. So what did that mean? They were taking it all. And then they expanded their conflict into parts of Syria, Lebanon, obviously into Iran eventually. What did people think was going to happen? What did they think was going to happen when Trump put out that stupid AI video of beachfront property? All right, right now, one of the most grotesque things is that they're saying there's 40,000 dead. Dude, there's entire cities that are completely leveled. You know what I mean? 40,000, it could be 10 times that. I think conservatively, you're talking about 200,000 people. And if that's not a genocide, especially when you have 2 million and you're saying you're going to move the rest or military occupy, there's not another word for it, right? And it's, Frank, I X'd it all out just before because I wanted to concentrate on the Epstein stuff. It's our weapons. They're AI weapons all over the place. You type in drones killing civilians in Gaza. All right. That's NPR. You type in sharpshooter program. Those are the soldiers equipped with guns that literally hone in on the target. The other sharpshooter program, which went into place before October 7th, was where they had the checkpoints. They also have at a checkpoint in Hebron an AI machine gun. Type in Hebron, AI machine gun. All right. It's our weapon systems. And our people have been on the ground since day one. And what do I mean by that? Our special forces were there on October 7th. It's a small country, and we spent more special forces right after that. Jerusalem Post, I think that is. So people got to get with it, man. We are and look, I do think Trump is genuine. I don't think that he loves what's going on there, but if he can't do anything about it, and it's always about the terrorists, like Netanyahu went on TV yesterday and responded to the 2 hostage videos, right? And I don't know if you've seen the 2 hostage videos, but they're 2 of the hostages that are still alive from October 7th. They're very skinny. I don't like seeing that either. But these are like the last couple of hostages. And Trump has said it. He goes, well, what do they have after they don't have those hostages? They have nothing. And they pretty much had nothing this whole time, as, Israel hasn't been shy about hitting sites where there may be hostages. But Netanyahu just lays on the propaganda, bro. He's like, oh, this is just like the Holocaust and the Nazis, and they're starving them out. And he's running with that line. He moved to fire the attorney general that has him on the corruption charges right now. You know that, right?
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, what? Not even 2 weeks ago. I think it was a week and a half ago. He was actually supposed to go and be deposed in court. He got food poisoning. His tum-tum hurt. So it got pushed back to September. This is insane, man. And let me tell you something. For those that think that this is going to improve the lives of Israelis, you are insane. Okay, what this does, it sets up a next level militarized AI-driven police state that now the boundaries of terror are just going to get wider. They're going to say Syria is now the issue, and Lebanon and Iran, as they already have. The threat's not going away, but what you will have is AI drones everywhere, checkpoints everywhere, military everywhere, and it's going to affect the citizenry there, even the Israeli citizenry. Okay, you might not be like the second class citizen that whatever's left of Palestine and those refugees are, but I promise you, just like during COVID 1984, you're going to have the passports, you're going to have the biometrics, you're going to have the limited checkpoints, et cetera, et cetera. So buckle up, man. I don't think this is. I don't think this has a happy ending, and it sucks.
Yeah. Well, I wish that we can. I knew that it was going to be something along these lines when I talked to you about it, because say, well, how long can it really take? How short of a time can it really take for somebody to wind down some much bigger, the conflicts that are on the books when Trump was inaugurated in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia, or NATO and Russia, and then of course in the Middle East. You say, well, when you know how many more miles deep below the surface explanation for both of them really goes, how quickly can they be wound up, and what kind of forces are you really dealing with? So a lot of people I know are holding their breath and praying for, some really good change. But, whereas we are experiencing some good things economically right now, you said there are things to really write home about with what Tulsi Gabbard has done, and some moves out of HHS, and then of course the border, and There's a lot. We're always going to be just calling balls and strikes on this, but you know, the slaughterhouse kind of games that are being played outside of the country, that's just I don't know. You were talking about human life that is just being extinguished all over the place. It's nuts, man. It really, and I guess it's bad one way or another because it's just an affront to humanity. But the fact that we are still going to work every day and being taxed so that money can go and prop up one side or another, and usually both sides, whenever it comes to wars that the U.S. is involved in, that we're essentially paying for in some indirect, direct way. That's what is just, man, I wish we had opt-out clauses. I really do.
Were you even aware? Because our media is so horrendous, and even the alternative media has just really failed on this issue, that you had literally, if not hundreds of thousands, tens of thousands of people marching in Australia against this, led by Julian Assange, literally 2 days ago?
No.
When you go see the videos of it, it's absolutely, first of all, I'm very happy to see Assange back in the game and marching with people, had his family in the front. But probably over 100,000 people marched across Australia, against what is going on. It's nowhere in our media. And they don't want not only to show Westerners standing up against this, they certainly don't want to bring Assange back. They don't want. When was the last time we got real leaked documents, my friend, that have had any political significance? Since WikiLeaks shut down. That's when. And it's been a while.
It's crazy. It's crazy. I just put this in. And maybe if I search a little bit farther, I can find some kind of an American-based outlet. But France 24 2 days ago, The Guardian 2 days ago, Al Jazeera, BBC, The Economic Times, Consortium, the Times of India. Hold on, damn. There's like nothing American.
Forbes, bro, and I like Forbes because at least Forbes puts out like real clips of things that are going on this House and Senate floors, and raw clips. For something that happened 2 days ago with one of the largest media outlets out there that obviously didn't really do much of a story, but they published a little bit, 21,000 views. My interview with Kurt Metzger this past week has more than that. I mean, it's embarrassing, man. It's embarrassing.
Speaking of your interviews, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 appearances of yours ago, you were talking about that really testy exit that Alan Dershowitz had with you. He's actually been a part of this very public rebranding of how the Epstein, the entire case is seen by the public. And of course, all of its legal potential to be relitigated in any kind of effective way, or finding out who's, or how to make what names available and known associates and network members and all that stuff. But he's also been, and I'm not saying that he's been told to go do this by anybody, but he just kind of picked up this really ridiculous mantle. He spent a little bit of time recently just correcting everybody that Jeffrey Epstein was not technically a pedophile because he preferred, young teenage children. So of course I guess that's what, hebephilia or something like that. So I mean, talk about being compelled to get technical with people on anything. He's just been a very, very strange presence in the media the past couple of months, and now correcting people on the way that they accuse Jeffrey Epstein of operating is
well, he's very proud that he was able to get that deal in Miami where it literally, the way it was worded was like a 14-year-old prostitute. You can't be a prostitute at 14 years old. You're being trafficked. All right. Like, that's not a real thing. So that wasn't real terminology. Listen, he knows damn well why that deal was cut because he was a big part of it. He's also been out on the record saying that he knows who's on the tapes because he's seen them, etc. And he says some of the names are not out there. Listen, Dershowitz he's a survivor, man. He's been in the middle of this and some of the most controversial issues of the last literal 50 plus years. And he was able to beat Virginia Giuffre Roberts in court. He was the one representing Les Wexner, who has been able to walk away from this. And I doubt you're going to see him being named to be subpoenaed. But hey, I'd love to be wrong about that. And he's somebody who we know, again, has been named time and time again in these documents. But Wexner especially has big time links to Israel and foreign policy. It's just a fact.
Well, Jason, I really appreciate you making a little bit of time for us tonight. It was last minute, but there's just so many things that were happening on the foreign wars front, and of course this list of deposition names and dates that were coming out today. So said, hey, come on and hang out with us for a little bit. Let everybody know where you're going to be next. You have a very robust broadcast schedule. My Rumble notifications are always just popping off with your streams going live. So let everybody know what comes up next.
Yeah. Well, we're actually going to be talking about this announcement that we're supposedly going to put a nuclear base on the far side of the moon.
Oh.
Exactly. I think we got a lot of Johnny nonsense to discuss on what's real and what's not when it comes to our space program. Talk a lot about transhumanism and other things. All my documentary films are also free. You can check me out at Jason Bermas just about everywhere. That's Bermas. And if you want to learn about 9/11, Loose Change, Final Cut, and Fabled Enemies are out there for free. If you want to see the bigger picture films, Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined, and Fabled Enemies. And I've been doing a lot of broadcasts and forums with the Mario Nafal people over on X. And maybe I have some good news in the future. It looks like they're going to have me host one of the next forums, and we'll see if I become a host over there as well.
Wow. Well, hey, man, whenever they started doing spaces over there on X, that was just the only name I would see pinned to the top. So I don't know too much about that guy, but I just know that when it comes to spaces, that's the first account I think about. So all the best to you, man. If you snag that, that'll be some really good attention to the brand, and go give them hell.
All right. Thank you, brother. You have a great night.
Take care. Jason Bermas, away he goes. And now I just turn the floor over to you guys. It's 8:13. I want to hear from you. Call in. Give us a call. I'm sorry. We had a little bit of a mix of good and bad news tonight. I mean, at least I bet on the surface. You don't want to hear about war still raging on, and even considering, even in the least bit, that Donald Trump is not in complete control. Where his heart is another story. But, this is an absolute mess. It is a far more than century-long system that has been set up, and there's a lot of people invested in that, in this sandcastle not being tipped over. You want to call in, talk about Big Balls and all of his vigilantism in Washington, D.C. By all means, 914-200-0269, 914-200-0269. I'm going to go to the Super Chats right now. Stovestoop says, King's debut rocked. I love King. I love the King that is 40. Well, the fact that so many of you guys are going to be in the same room in 1 month. Do you understand? This is surreal for me. I know it's going to be surreal for quite a few of you, because tonight is September 5th. It's August 5th. But tonight, plus 1 month, exactly, it's 8/14. You know what that means? We will have already been hanging out. People will already have been streaming into Studio A for a few hours. Now, I probably will go live from about 7 to 8 o'clock or so and do a little something on air, but it is a month away. Tomorrow will be a month away from the main event, the Jamboree at Garcia's at the Capitol Theater. I've added 15 more tickets. Last week, they're almost all gone, and it's going to be great, man. We've got people like I said before, John Ward and Zoso Dude and Reverend Bill Bean, King 40, Tony Black, Top Lobster and Raven of Nephilim Death Squad, Mel K, Matt, Anthony, Sal the Butcher, I mean, there's just so many. Robert Phoenix is coming in. Akira the Don. We're this close. We're this close to having Akira the Don out here. And I hope I can list quite a few more over the next 4 weeks. So that's just crazy to look at this 1 month away. So let's see. Jay Britt says, how's it shaking, Frank? Earthquakes. Yes, I get it. I get it. Oh, you know, just like a low rumbling subwoofer in the back of your car or something like that. Jay Semo says, great show, very sobering. Well, I hate to be so sobering, but every once in a while, that's just what we have. And I wondered, you know, how the hell we're going to cover Jim Acosta talking to the dead by way of the dead's parents. That's the state of the so-called mainstream media at this point. That's how much in shambles they're in. And then of course this whole these headlines about how NATO is taking it to the Russians, but they're not actually taking it to the Russians. They're still getting everything from us, and we're just not the ones hand delivering it, at least on the books. Anywho, call in. I've got more things for you that we can do in just a little bit. I've got, I'm just getting around to comment on a few other things, but I had somebody write in last night about the WNBA. I thought that was fun. This is Jen. Jen said this: Frank, I'm sorry I was not able to call in live, but I played high school basketball right when they started the league, WNBA. I played college ball and never was my goal to play in that league. My mom was my coach and made me play against boys in the summer. I was pretty good against bad players. I was decent against average players. I played against good players and never was going to beat them. I was a physical female, 3, 4, 5 player. When I played guys, even playing a bit dirty, throwing elbows, tripping and fouling, I just couldn't keep up. I have yet to follow a WNBA team, watch a game, or have any interest in the league in 30 years. Even my diehard women's basketball extended family will watch college, but not the WNBA. So I don't know who is watching or going, but it's not many regular folks. I have friends who played in the league. Their families, their friends watch, but I don't know anyone, and my mom is a Hall of Fame coach, and I played my whole life, so I know a lot of basketball people who watches. Caitlin Clark has brought some good recognition, but I haven't seen her play since college. Zero interest. That's all I know about the subject. Thanks for the great shows. That's Jen. Yeah, well, listen, like most things to relate to this subject, and I told this to Jen in an email too. It's never about having, being upset or about never having any athletic outlets for women or not wanting any organizations who cater to whatever market interest there are for women professional sports. I mean, I still love the Olympics. I love rooting for our girls, but I mean, the biggest part of our time spent on these subjects are digging into the attempts to pull people away from those good feelings and into something far more combative. 405, you're on the air. Go ahead. 405?
I'm here.
Who's this?
It's Jen.
Oh, Jen, I was just reading your email, Jen.
I saw. So I was just going to say, and it doesn't have anything to do, I love women's sports. I love watching women excel. Piper's a wrestler, and we're shopping colleges right now for her. It's not that, but it seems so inauthentic. It's just hard to watch. It's like a pickup game. It's not great. It's not a good product. No,
yeah, and I think that's the greater cultural thing, the cultural point that I think we've been hovering around the entire time, is that there is something inauthentic. There's an inauthentic kind of a war measure that I don't know. It's just that everybody has to take a side on something, and it is always set up as some kind of battle of the sexes, and it turns everything sour. But one side is always coming with sour vibes, so that's just it tints the whole thing, I guess.
Well, now even the Caitlin Clark thing, she brought some recognition to the league, and I think people would try to watch, but they're making it a race thing and having, Angel Reese be the bad guy, and and then, Caitlin Clark is the one that just gets absolutely pushed around and beat up and hit and all the things, and they're like, pick a side, and it's a racial thing. It's not even like an organic, they're just people who don't like each other. Bill Lambier was the bad guy. They played that with guys, it worked, but they won't do it with girls. Now it has to be another issue that's controversial to bring people there. I think it's gross.
Yeah, that's a good point there too. It doesn't even really become so much more men versus women, because I mean they use misogyny to try to guilt people into talking about money, and to abandon any kind of real market economic reasons for justifying money that should be paid, because it's not justified unless money's being made in the first place. But
they're in debt. It's really silly.
I know. That's why I say. That's why I say to your point, and it's a good one. It's a good point that outside of the money conversation, everything that's happening on the court is really not about men and women, because there's no men present. No. So that's been made mostly about race. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's sad to me, because I think our society has been so dumbed down that they recite these really silly things like, sex is a construct, it's a mental construct. No, it's biology. I can't keep up with a man, and I'm a really good player, and I tried my best to be a really good player, but it was never going to succeed against a good male athlete. That's why we have women's sports, and now they're just invading them. And it's silly. I mean, just let women be in the league, be the best they can be. Whoever watches. If the league fails, that's fine. It's just gross. They just make it so inorganic and so made up and fake that I'm not interested, and I never was interested. I'll just go have babies, and it's fine. Get married, have a life, do great things. But that was not my goal, because it just felt that way even then.
Well, I think I appreciate your contribution to the topic, and I'm glad we were able to get you on tonight. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you. Have a good one.
There you go. Jennifer, there she goes. I liked that. Yes, indeed. Let's take another call. Let's see. 914-200-0269. Give me a buzz. What the hell's on your mind? And away we go. In the meantime, there's other things that we can do. I mean, like I said before, there's so many things happening in the news that if you wanted to do a little bit of news, I'm open for whatever you got. Let's take a call up. Let's see what King has to say. Go ahead, King. Oh, wait. Leonardo's racist grandfather.
I love you, man. I love you. Hey, listen, thank you very, very much for premiering that video for me.
Yep.
And if I could just say, the imagery I used in that video was to let you chicks know I ain't bullshitting. I will be wearing a Speedo underneath my clothes at the event. I ain't bullshitting.
Well, hopefully everybody will be wearing underwear under their clothes. But just a little something for you to think about. Just think of King, John Travolta, and those. Are you gonna wear shoes just like Travolta's shoes in that video?
I got black cowboy boots, which have they have close to the heel length of his. Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go.
But I'd also I would always just like to say in closing here that, listen, people, we don't need no Debbie Downers, all right? And you know who you are. This event is about having fun. It's not about politics. Whatever Frankie discusses on his show, Frankie is a good, genuine man that is putting together an event for people to come together and just have a good time and have a little fun. If that's what you're not showing up for, then don't bother.
Wait, what happened?
No, nothing. I'm just saying in general.
Oh, but why? Because people are saying that it's going to be a political event?
No.
Okay.
Nobody ever said that.
All right, good.
I'm just saying
Good, yeah.
if that's going on in people's heads, that no.
No.
I'm not accusing anybody of anything.
No, you're going to actually, people are going to see just how, just how far from those subjects I like being away, when we're out in public. It's going to be such a fun time. And yes, I hope everybody feels comfortable and just makes friends that night.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No. I'm not saying anything or anything in particular. Of course, you touch on subjects that are important, but this event is about everybody just coming together and have a good time regardless. No. I'm not pointing at anything specific. Please don't misunderstand me.
Okay, no. Hey, that's fine. Great announcement, though. I'm with you 100%, and that is definitely at the heart of the whole thing. So, thanks again for calling, man. And I'm happy that I've gotten a couple of messages from people who love the new single of yours. So keep whenever you have inspiration, you just keep pumping those out.
Thank you for having me, my friend.
All right, take care. See, everybody's finding new things. Speaking of, we've talked about this not too long ago about old media, the reshaping going on over there. We were talking about it with the Colbert Show as well, and Howard Stern popped up during that contest, that conversation. I just saw this not too long ago before we went live. Howard Stern's stint at SiriusXM reportedly nearing an end. After nearly 2 decades as the marquee talent at SiriusXM, maybe signing off for good, but that can't be. It's no longer worth the investment to keep paying the reported $100 million a year per salary. Oh, of course. Sirius and Stern are never going to meet on the money that he's going to want. Oh, you've made so much. $100 million. Does it really require that much? Really? SiriusXM is likely to negotiate a deal to retain Stern's extensive audio library, but The Daily Show appears to be winding down. There's no way that they can keep paying his salary. Beyond financial considerations, The Sun reports that Stern's outspoken political views, especially his criticism of Donald Trump and high-profile interviews with figures like Vice President Kamala Harris, may also be a factor. If Sirius isn't going to give Stern a good offer, I don't think it would be anything to with it. It wouldn't. I don't think it would have anything to do with his ratings. It's more like everything to do with the political climate. Doesn't that go right into ratings? I mean, there's a lot of things that Howard Stern does that I'm no longer interested in anymore. But I always consider him a pretty good interviewer, and I just don't care. I don't care. And I've paid for SiriusXM for years. There's only a few years that I did not have SiriusXM in one form or another since 2005 when he went over there. But I couldn't tell you the last time I went on Howard 100 or Howard 101. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. It had to have been before 2010. So I don't know what that all means, but I bet you any money, if that doesn't work out, he's going to internet radio, which would be interesting. Because I remember him really shitting on people and their stupid little internet radio shows once they all started to happen around 2006, 2007, Live 365, people streaming on Winamp and all that stuff. And now that is the vast majority of streaming media, especially of the talk variety. So, I don't know, that's a little something there. 914-200-0269, 914-200-0269. We'll take a couple more of your calls just after this.
Hey, mister, can I bury you? Great!
Okay, so here's another one I had for you. Now, last week we ended with that really big show on Scientology. I was surprised to see I had one or two people get in touch with me who are in the audience who are Scientologists. One of them was pretty bummed that we brought Chris Shelton on, and I just thought that was interesting. Of course, I wish we could have had a little bit more time to take calls, and of course, one day when the audience is, I think the real thing is that when the audience gets a little bit bigger, it's going to be a little bit easier to do things, to do hot topics right then and there. Otherwise, you have to kind of almost like plan for it and get people leaving voice notes and all that stuff, because I'm still at the point where we'll do a really great show and there'll be a lot of insightful calls. But as far as firsthand accounts, firsthand experiences, things like that, like things that are really hit right to the core of an issue, like bullseye, those still trickle in over the courses of a couple of days. And, some pro Scientology calls would have been really nice too. Love to hear the other side spoken for. Why not? Listen to this, though, about, was this right afterward? No, this was on July 18th, so I had missed this. And I wish I had not, but somebody in the audience had tagged me. Isaac Hayes III. This was about Isaac Hayes, South Park, the character of Chef, and of course Scientology. This is his son? Yes, this is Isaac Hayes' son. Listen to this. For over 14 years, people have speculated about why my father, Isaac Hayes, left South Park. I'm here to set the record straight. My dad did not quit South Park. Scientology did. After the episode Trapped in the Closet aired in 2005, my father suffered a stroke just a few months later that left him unable to speak or make decisions on his own. He was not in any condition to resign from anything. The truth is, someone else within his Scientology circle made that decision and quit the show for him. He loved being the voice of Chef. He loved the character. He loved connecting with fans. He would joke with people who recognized his voice, and he truly enjoyed being part of the show. The narrative that he quit because he was offended by the satire is not true. That was a cover story created by others. My father never got to speak for himself because his health robbed him of that chance. So now I'm speaking for him. He did not leave South Park willingly. He was forced out by illness and by people who did not have his best interest at heart. This is for anyone who loved Chef. This is for anyone who admired my father's work. This is the truth about what really happened. And there's an entire story that has been published on Cracked, in case anybody wants to read about it. My dad would have never quit that show. So there's another thing. This is what I'm talking about. There's so many sides to every side story, to every side quest story about everything that we talk about and don't talk about. So I might take a look at that later on. But another country heard from. Here is a thing that I brought up the other day, and I thought that maybe this would be a good time to get your opinions, because if I don't get any opinions on anything in the next 4 minutes, then we're cutting this one short, and I am heading over to do some extra innings a little bit early. We're screwed, I said this the other day. A public school grading scale had been made public, and it was a part of some sort of a television piece out in California. And it was accompanied by a Facebook post by a California parent of a student. And the parent said, "When did this become the recommended grading standard? I guess my child doesn't have to work so hard anymore to get an A." And again, like I put out the other night, in California, an A is 84 to 100%. So I guess there is no A plus anymore. It's just A, flat B's, C's, D's, and F's. 64 to 80. This is the one that kills me right here. 64 to 84%. A 20-point swing gets you a B in the state of California. I don't know if this is a proposed grading scale, but we've seen things like this get switched up along with a variety of other standards, state standards of education. But that is a huge swing right there. 64 to 84, you get yourself a B. Because getting a 64, as I said when I threw this out there, it's just a grab bag item. Getting a 64 in elementary school, middle school, actually into high school as well. That's it. That's it. You failed. 64 was failing. 65, 66 was passing by the skin of your teeth, and it was nothing to be proud of. You know, that was like D. Because what D minus is essentially failing, no? And then F is just to hell with it. I can't believe that. So what do you guys think about this? Has anything like this happened with you? Now, I know that this from state to state, this is different, just like when it comes to the lottery, the state lottery that we were talking about not too long ago. I've had people write in from Pennsylvania, from Michigan, and from 2 other states at least, with some famous instances of lottery rigging, and that there are different ways that different states can rig those lotteries and how people have done it in the past and probably will do it in the future because of what the state allows and protocols, education, lotteries. What the hell does it all matter anyway? What I don't understand is why anybody would feel like they have some. Where's the incentive of pushing people through? Just shoving them through the sewers, you know, pushing them through the pipes to get out onto the other side. Is it really just about competing for funding? That's got to be it. It's got to be it. If you're just competing for funding, for money, then because otherwise you would think that there is a far greater reason to get a child an education and get them, you know, a diploma. Steven, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Hey, it's Space.
Hey,
how's it going?
Look, good to have you on. How are you?
Pretty good. First time caller, a very long time listener, probably back 2017.
Wow,
I'd say.
man. That's incredible. And it took you this long to call in.
Yeah, no, I've just been doing life, I suppose.
Well, I'm happy I'm talking to you, and you know, you've seen a lot. We're essentially friends, but this is the first time we're talking.
Yes, sir. Thought I'd make it official tonight. So I just wanted to quickly touch on kind of the weird things that happen in Hollywood, and you can't even really explain it, but the Wachowski brothers, that wrote the Matrix trilogy.
Oh,
they went trans.
I know, both of them. I saw it.
So, and we love the Matrix. It's a great lesson for everyone, whether whichever, whether you take the red or the blue pill, right? You know, you're still a fan. But yeah, it says they confirmed in 2020 that the film's theme of transformation and escaping a false reality were intentionally coded to reflect her and her sister Lena's experience as transgender individuals. Whoa.
You know what's crazy is I don't know what, because there's always a much deeper seated trauma that is hidden. A lot of people in situations like that who are living some really unnatural lifestyles, and of course, you know, you have 2 brothers. You have to imagine have been through a lot together since the time that they were young, and what shared trauma could they have to have brought them both to this same deluded state? I don't know, but there's got to be something pretty big there.
Right, it's like a mirrored Menendez brothers type thing. They do like a little blood pact and say, "All right, we're going female now. We're going for it. Matrix is out. We're billionaires, you know." Combined, I suppose.
You bring up the Menendez brothers. There's an example of 2 guys that exploded. And then this looks like two guys that perhaps imploded because of something. I mean, I'm not going to go out and speculate as to what it is, but you can't tell me that there is a completely normal background there that led two brothers to the same conclusion. I don't know.
Very interesting indeed, but just thought I'd share and keep up the good work, Frank.
Well,
Love you.
You know what? I really appreciate it. And thanks for calling in. I don't care how long it took, because after all these years, this was the night I needed the call the most, when I have all these people watching and nobody's picking up the phone. So thank you, Steve.
Yes, sir. Have a good one, brother.
All right. Take care. Jim from Maine, how are you?
Hey, Frank. Good. How are you?
Oh, I'm all right. I'm all right. Just moseying along here. And it's good to hear from you.
Yeah. Always good to get on. Just wanted to touch base quickly on the grading system that you mentioned. And, I don't know if this is the norm, but, in the high school up here, it used to be, if you had straight A's in high school, what did you used to make? You used to make what? The honor roll, right?
Yep.
Now you have highest honors. Then you have, I forgot the middle one, but they call it like mid honors. Then you have honors. So there's basically 3 honor rolls you can get on.
Come on.
Now, Frank, I'm not joking. It's like the highest honors is straight A's. Then the mid honors is like A's and B's. And I'm not joking. You can get on the plain honor roll now with the C up here.
Oh.
A C, they call it the honor roll.
I know.
I mean, it's like, if you're not rewarding mediocrity, I don't know what you call that. 3 different types of honor rolls. It's not an honor roll if you get a C, man. You're skating by with a C.
Well, I
know what I mean?
It used to be. It used to be skating by with the C. If I got a C, I knew that in reality, that meant I had I was like 75. That's like a 75% to 78% perhaps, because around 78, 80 is when you're in B- territory and all that. And it's, when I look at this in California, that a C is 44 to 64%. I mean, 44%, you were, I don't know, you put shame to your whole family at 44. That's a
shame.
That's shame.
I mean, it's insane. I don't understand it. And, and then you go to the lower levels where you don't even use letter grades anymore. In the middle school now, it's all numbers. You use 1, 2s, and 3s.
Okay, hold on. What are some alternative grading systems used
look up
the U.S. to avoid letter grades? Give me the most progressive insanity you can find. Let's just see. All right. Some schools have moved away from traditional standards-based grades. Instead of the letter grades, students are assessed on specific skills like proficient, developing, or not yet. That is widely used in K through 12 in some California districts. Proficient, developing, or not yet. Narrative.
And it's usually labeled as in a 1 or 2 or a 3. That's how it's labeled. Like, I think if it's a 3, you're progressing, or if it's a 1, it's a not yet. Something to that effect. And it's all because they don't want to, it's to get away from the failing aspect of it. And I think you were spot on with the funding issue. It's like why they push this stuff and why, how they are able to pass kids now and just move them through. It's strictly a battle for funds. I think you were spot on with that. It's terrible, from what they're doing to these kids. Like they're awarding mediocrity. You have to see the stuff in the school system, Frank. I was shown a paper, it was written on a page. I thought a first grader wrote it. This was a 6th grader. Wrote something that you thought a kindergartner or a first grader would try to write. It's pathetic, man.
I'll tell you, there's a lot here. Well, first of all, there's portfolio-based assessment, competency-based. There's pass-fail or credit-no credit systems. But for the most progressive insanity I can find, ungrading, championed by educators. Ungrading.
Ungrading.
Yeah, let me see here. Educators like Jesse Stommel practice in pockets of progressive schools, some private institutions like Sadbury Model Schools. Ungrading throws out grades entirely. Students self-assess, often in collaboration with teachers, through reflective essays or conferences. The focus is on intrinsic motivation and personal growth with no external metrics. For example, a student might write a narrative about their learning journey and the teacher agrees or adjusts it based on dialogue. Critics call it anarchic. Let's see here, including leaves students to be unprepared for real-world accountability. Yeah, you see, there's a thing. I think that a mixture. There's a mixture here. I get, like, when I think about Barbie Rivera calling in a week or so ago, and the way that, of course, the pathway for educating a child with her in a micro school or something like that is really dictated on the child's most enthusiastic interests. And of course, there are standards. I mean, you'd have to know basic arithmetic. You have to know how to read and write. No doubt about it. But as far as going forward, there should be, like, I hate standardized testing. But then again, you don't need to have standardized tests and all that stuff to getting rid of grades. I think that there's still something good about being able to be, like they said, held accountable to some degree and have some form of your academic record be objective and not subjective. And
you have to have a standard, Frank.
Yeah,
there's accountability, and there has to be some type of standard that you're shooting for. To self-assess your own work, to have a teacher sit down and have students, and the teacher can give you feedback, and you can be like, "Well, let me tell you my truth about my essay."
Yeah,
I think it's pretty damn good.
I know.
To be honest with you, it's a hell of a story. I may not know how to spell correctly or how to put together a proper sentence, but I think the story was quite enthralling. Right? I mean, come on, man. What are we talking about here?
I guess what I would ask people, and thanks for the call, Jim. It's great to hear from you.
Yeah, have a good night, Frank. Thanks
for
letting me on.
Take care. Thanks for calling in. I guess what I would love to hear from people, maybe in another show, is if A through F grading, if there's a better option, if there is a better option, what the hell is it? I don't know. I mean, because the real thing is that you want to teach children accountability, responsibility, and get them to acquire new skills that'll help prepare them for not only going out and make the world, the country a better place, but also allow them to become independent human beings. I mean, you don't need to have letter grades. Are letter grades the best way to get somebody to that state? I don't know. What we're seeing right now is a way that if you're going to work within the constructs of having letter grades to be that standard, to be the basis of an academic record that you're building, then what we're seeing is that construct completely dissolved into something that is not helpful. You're going to get an A. You're going to get an A with 84%. You're going to get a C at 44%. If you're going to use A through F letter grading, it can't be this. No. 661, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Frank.
Hey.
Rob from California.
Oh, so you're right in the heart of this. Is this correct? Was this just something that was proposed, or is this actually the public school grading scale that's being used in California right now?
It's crazy. It's been going on for a long time. This whole ideology of just a participation trophy and all these accolades for no accomplishments. But instead of talking about all this. I just had one solution, and we would have smarter kids in a week, and we would be over all of this nonsense. And we just have to go back to our forefathers and bring back the dunce cap. If you put it on one kid one day, he'll do his homework later, and he'll show up the next day never wanting to wear it again. Can't we just have a petition to bring back the dunce cap? We'd have smarter kids in 30 days.
You know what? I would like to see if there can be, I don't know. I would like to prove that. 30 days and the dunce cap was the only thing that happened there. Oh man, can you imagine the hell on earth just from the parents? That would be incredible. I would love watching it. Rob, if you can actually make that happen, I would sit back and I would enjoy the entire experiment, and I would root for you. After 30 days, can he really change education in the state of California? All he needed was a paper cone cap. That's all he needed.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a guarantee, because if I had a child in school that wasn't doing good, for the love of my child and for evolutionary purposes alone, I want my kid to do good. If without a little competition and all this stuff, we grew up, I played baseball like you. I mean, you got to make the team. You don't just get a participation trophy for showing up trying to swing. And, you got to put some effort forth. I think if your parent really loved their kids, they wouldn't mind. And by the way, this would also solve bullying, because the smartest kids would be the popular kids, because they never wore the dunce cap, and all the bullies that didn't do shit, the tables would turn so fast that everything would be straightened out.
See, these are the ideas that I want to see explored a little bit more. That would be good. Yeah. Well, Rob, you know what? Hopefully in a new version of the world coming up right now. I don't know. Out there in California, I don't know how well it's catching on with kids that are homeschooling or forming micro schools or anything else like that. But maybe there's at least one educational institution out there that would be willing to get a little bit more old school with their approach.
That'd be cool, right? I'll tell you something, and I won't keep you. I talk to a lot of people out here. I homeschooled my kid 20 years ago. He's 30, and everyone looked at me and thought I was crazy. And now I hear so many people doing it, and I have a lot of younger friends. They're all doing it. I think homeschooling is catching on, and just like taking any sovereignty, whether it's your health, your children's future, with not letting someone else indoctrinate them. We got to take responsibility from soup to nuts.
How long were you homeschooling your son, from K through 12?
No. I took him out in 4th grade, and I homeschooled him until halfway through 10th grade. He went back for the last senior year and a half. Okay, sounds cool. Yeah. And he's a good kid. He's a normal kid. He's smarter than all his friends. He's the only guy working. He's doing good. And it's not that he's a genius or nothing, but homeschooling, they get everyday practicality and utilitarian ideas and problem solving. And in schools, we got to wait for all the kids getting participation trophies to, finish eating their shitty breakfast and not being even ready to go to school. So we need to feed kids better, and we need to put a dunce cap on them when they fuck up. And we'd have better kids in a month.
Thank you for the call, Rob. Very interesting.
Thanks, sir. Thank you, man.
Thank you. Yeah, that's like me going to Fenway Park to run the Spartan race with Anthony and 60 other people. I said, how many people are in this group? He said, you want to come with my workout group, whatever. There's a gym upstairs, and there's about 30 or so people that showed up to be part of this race. And, you have people like me and Anthony, even if I'm not really conditioned, I can get through that 5K in probably under an hour, but you're waiting for everybody. We're jogging ahead. We're jogging in place. We're waiting for people. We're climbing over the wall. We're climbing, scaling a wall, jumping over something, swinging around. And then you just got to wait. Got to wait for everybody to show up. And you're getting cold along the way. So, yeah, I can see how I keep going back to the Larry Sharp conversation. Really good stuff. Okay, well, here's what we got for the rest of the evening, ladies and gentlemen. I've got some videos we're going to be watching, some things to react to. I think it's fun. I'm going to be talking directly to you guys and gals in the chat room over there on pilled.net. You can head over there right now. It's not only on pilled.net. You can find it on quitefrankly.tv. That's where Pilled is hold on, let me make sure. Here you go. I'm putting the Pilled link in the room. We're heading over there right now for extra innings as it is 9:00. And now we're going to do a little something extra. We're going to let our hair down. No real format. Talking directly to the chat room and reading gold pills and watching videos. And what we do from night to night will change from time to time. It's going to be a lot of fun. We'll still be taking calls if they're coming in. But thank you so much, everybody, for tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night. We're going to have a really interesting, we got Mr. Xavier's coming on the show, a psychedelic DJ. That's for our Wednesday night show. Thursday, we got something incredible as well. We're going to be talking about the unconscious mind. And then Friday will be Friday. And of course, every night when the credits roll from now on, we're going to have a little bit of extra time with each other. And that is just going to be the best. Stress-free goodness. All right. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for the super chats. Let me make sure I didn't miss anybody. Tommy Jekyll says, Jay Semo said that he found this to be a sobering show. Could you figure a show to make me more drunk for long distance? Better still, when will you have your family on again? Late night. Well, I'm working on that. Like I said, there's going to be 2 Saturday night shows a month now. This Saturday that'll work. Anthony won't be around, so that's why I had to push off the Zadals in New York thing. But I'll figure something out to do this Saturday night, and it'll be good. Family shows will come on. Me and Anthony will do our thing. We'll have some Zadals in New York specials. That's all just going to happen, and it'll keep happening. So thank you so much. Become a sponsor. That's what really matters going into the future, having you guys stand behind the show so we can make more changes, tinkering, and getting this ready to fight in a whole new set of years, because the first 20 were really an adventure. Now I'd like to put some rocket boosters on for the next 20 years. And that's what we're preparing for in 2026. So become a sponsor and help me turn the page in a big, big way. We will be back on the other side of the end credits. I'll see you on Pilled. And if you're in a spot and you can't find the link I just put out there, go to quitefrankly.tv and it'll just continue without interruption. God! It just won't stop.
I'll catch you on the flip side.